First off, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm really excited about the 2023 French Open, even without 14-time champion Rafael Nadal, and without some other big names like Berrettini, Cilic, Kyrgios, and we may have seen the last of Andy Murray at the French Open, who has withdrawn and is just going to focus on Wimbledon. But have Carlos Alcaraz's chances of winning this title taken a huge hit? Well, that's how I felt after I saw the draw when it was released. In the hopes of having an epic final between Alcaraz and Djokovic, well, you can throw that in the garbage. Because what happened is Medvedev went and won the Italian Open, Rome, which pushed him up to number 2 and slid Djokovic down to number 3 in the world. And the French Open has decided to follow the ATP rankings for seeding, which they normally do, but they aren't required to do that. They have the permission to adjust that a little bit based off a player's history. Now, I know the draws are all randomized, but the seeding is not. And sometimes that 3 seed will get put in the bottom half or the top half, and vice versa with the 4 seed. And that's terrible news because it's put Alcaraz and Djokovic in the same side of the draw, but it gets worse than that. And looking at Alcaraz's draw, he got by far the worst draw of any of the top contenders. But the good news is if he can break through and win this title, it will further cement his legacy as the next great tennis player, and assure me that the future of tennis is in great hands and will be fun to watch in the future, because that next gen from the last 8 years has underachieved so far, guys like Berrettini, Zverev, Thiem, and Kyrgios. But listen to this, Alcaraz's path to winning this title will include Denis Shapovalov in the 3rd round and Cam Norrie in the 4th round. Now, do I think he beats both of those guys? Yes, obviously. But both guys can be very streaky, and I would not be surprised if they got a set or 2 off Alcaraz. But then it gets really tough and interesting. Alcaraz has got Stefanos Tsitsipas in the quarters. His best surface, Tsitsipas, he's awesome on clay. And then, of course, Novak Djokovic in the semifinals. And then that bottom half is really weak compared to the top half. The bottom half contenders are Daniil Medvedev, Holger Rune, and Casper Ruud. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and leave a comment in the comments section. I want to hear your opinions. So that top half is just super heavy. You've got Alcaraz and Djokovic and Tsitsipas, plus players like Andrei Rublev and Felix Auger-Aliassime, who is my underdog, my dark horse, my player to watch in this tournament. And it reminds me of last year, which was a little bit of a travesty when you had Nadal and Djokovic. They had to face each other in the quarterfinals, which really just should have been the final. And then you ended up with a somewhat boring final with Nadal versus Ruud. Nadal absolutely dominated that match. I do think Medvedev makes the final. He's in that bottom half of the draw that's kind of weaker. He's been playing some awesome clay court tennis this year. Just won the Italian Open, Rome. But his best appearance at Roland Garros was in 2021 when he made the quarterfinals, and last year he just made the 4th round. Some other questions I have is, can Dominic Thiem show any flashes of his old self? He is in that bottom half of the draw, the weaker side of the draw, but for about a 2 or 3 year period, he was the 2nd best clay court player in the world behind Rafael Nadal. But he's got a tough draw. He'd have to face Borna Coric, seeded 15th in the 2nd round, who's just had an awesome clay court season this year. And then he'd have to face off with Medvedev in the 4th round. But I'm not expecting too much out of Dominic Thiem until he really starts to show some of his old flashes. And will this be Stan Wawrinka's or Richard Gasquet's last year playing? Wawrinka's currently ranked 88th and just turned 38 years old. And Richard Gasquet is ranked 50th and is 36 years old. I've really enjoyed watching both of those players play. They've been around a long time, so I hope that they can win a few matches this year. So I still like Carlos Alcaraz to win this tournament, although I am less confident now after the draws have been released. And please check out my other video about, with Rafael Nadal out, who is going to capitalize on this big opportunity. Please let me know in the comment sections what you guys think. These tournaments can go any different way. Expect the unexpected. There will probably be a lot of upsets, but enjoy this year's tournament. I'm really excited, and I'll see you guys out in the court soon. Ciao.